Hello, and welcome to another episode of Patroma Therapy. We hope that you have been well, and we would like to welcome some of our new subscribers. Bienvenidos, and all that good stuff. Today, we're going to be looking at the back panel of what is usually called the Garden of Earthly Delights. This is a triptych painted on wood by Bosch, and it's painted in oil, and we see a black background with a globe floating in it, and then a small figure to the left and a little bit of inscribed writing. So, welcome, and how are you feeling today?
I am feeling dissatisfied because I am unable to express myself through something similar. That I cannot create anything that be even close to this word of art. But I also feel lucky because today we get to discuss things that someone had the vision to paint 500 years ago.
Yes,
we get to discuss today the exterior of the triptych, because normally it is always the scenes of the inner triptych that are on display.
Right, because when you look at the art history books and they show the triptych opened up.
It's like nobody is interested in what's written on the back on the paintings.
Yeah.
Well, the exterior panels show the world during creation here, the biblical events before the appearance of animals and humans.
Yes, well, this was actually painted on a commission. So someone paid Bosch to paint this, and they were some kind of Netherlandian politicos, and this was a commission, and it was originally commissioned in Brussels. But today, if we go to the Prado Museum in Madrid, we can see the piece. It was an altar piece meant to be set up on an altar and then opened up. And then when Mass is over, they would generally close it. So what we're talking about is the closed version of it. So what do you think of when you see this globe thing in this black space?
2 words. Snow globe. Or is it 1 word? Anyway, I'm getting lots of positive vibes from the triptych's exterior, and I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it lacks color, being dark green and gray mostly, I think of one of those Christmas snow globes with Santa and Christmas tree inside, with the ceramic Christmas town covered with snow.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it makes me think, what if the Earth really is covered by a sphere, and this painting is nothing but a reminder of how the world was really created?
Well, this is also, I think, another creation story. We see a little figure kind of distant and off to the left, and I believe that's God the Father. He's holding a book, but he's distant from his creation. So this is not the New Testament. New Testament means, God has sent his Son into the world. And then as you open up the triptych, you see what happens in the world. So the triptych is closed. We see a very small figure of God the Father off to the left. And then there's some inscription that's written across there. I can't see it, but didn't you figure out what it was? What does it say there?
Unfortunately, I only remember that this phrase comes from Psalm 33. I'll have to look it up. But listen, I've just shifted my gaze from the letters back to the globe. It felt like whatever the opposite of a fisheye lens is.
Well, the way it's painted, what we have is a squaring of the globe. So this is also a type of mandala shape. And we see a globe or a circle that's squared around it. The reflection on the globe, the way Bosch has painted it, you get the feeling that it's three-dimensional. There's some, like a light surface off to the left. And something's going on in the globe, I think.
And then there is also the image of God, in whose likeness we are made.
Well, it's interesting to me that just as a snow globe, if you went shopping in different stores in Manhattan or Berlin or Moscow or Dallas, and you were looking around for some Christmas gifts, you might find a little snow globe, and one of them might have a snowman in it. Another one might have some kids sleighing, and another one might have Santa carrying his toys. So somebody created that little world on the inside of the Christmas snow globes. So when I look at Bosch's painting, I see a globe with a little world in it, and he is showing us something about his vision of the world. And it appears to be a like before the flood, antediluvian. Before the flood, there was a period of peace. And then, man and woman started doing the things they do, that kind of falling into temptation and sin. And, we have free will, we make mistakes. And, God is kind of looking down, thinking like, wow, look what these people are doing. So the way Bosch depicted it, God is off to the left and just kind of looking onto his creation.
That's right. God is looking onto his creation, and the exterior panels show the world during creation. I'm not sure at what stage, though.
And it's supposed to be something, it's supposed to be the flood. So you can see, if you enlarge it a little bit, you can see around the rim of the, like the circumference area, there appears to be water rising. So we know from the creation story of the flood that God looked down at what people were doing and talked to Noah and said, this is messed up. Let's just pick, get your wife and let's get 2 camels and 2 deer and 2 squirrels and 2 elephants. Let's just go 2 by 2 up the ramp into the ark, because I'm going to send a flood to destroy all the bad people. And, that's what Noah did. And that's a story in the Old Testament. So, it's interesting to look at it now, in the year 2020, at all the different things that are going on in the world today. We still have vice and crime and drugs and temptation and all kinds of terrible stuff.
By the way, I have just found the quote inscribed above the image of God.
Oh, good. Yeah. What does that inscription say?
It says, Ipsi dixit et facta sunt, ipsi mandavit et creata sunt. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast.
Well, I have it jotted down. This is another translation of that biblical phrase. For he spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. So it's bada bump bump bump.
Well, that sounds like a poem.
It's yes, and the Psalms were originally sung by David, and they were created to be kind of like singing poems. So, Bosch someone chose this psalm just to be right up there at the top, and then you open it, get into the inside. But we're still just looking at the globe. For God spoke, it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. So God has sent a flood to the earth, and he's kind of sort of looking on at all this. He's not embedded in the world. I don't even see any people. It's just kind of like a gray mass of stuff.
I still wonder why they don't show the backside of this triptych to the visitors who come to the museum in Madrid. From what I've seen on YouTube, they've hammered it on the wall.
Well, I'm pretty sure I have not been to the Prado, but I have been to, the Notre Dame, and I've been to St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan. I've been to some cathedrals, and this idea of an altar piece is something that goes through various cultures and times. So it would be as big as an altar that the priest would say Mass on. And so I don't believe that it's hammered on a wall in the Prado, even though I haven't been there. I believe it's on an altar and it's probably roped off with, velvet ropes. I just know, as I've looked at art history books and I've taught some about, to people about art history, it wasn't until about a year ago that I even knew this thing existed. And I've been like looking at this stuff for years. And so I think if we went into the museum, we would probably see the triptych opened up because that's what everyone's familiar with. So we would have to like sneak around the back to see that there's also painting on the other side. I was just fascinated to find out. And I'm like so glad that some of our subscribers can take a look at this too and, give us some of their impressions about, what they think is going on here, if they like it.